how to attach the string to the tuning peg. While I'm still holding good tension on this string so I don't lose that string end, I'm going to bring the string up through the hole on the tuning peg, pull it through. You want to make sure your levers, okay, so I put a knot in it. It's only going to turn into a knot, so I need to undo it. Get that knot out of there. Good grief. Okay. Want to make sure your lever is down. I'm still pulling up on that bottom. These are gut strings. That means they have lots of stretch in them before they ever get to pitch. If you don't give them ample room to stretch, they will break and snap before you ever get to the pitch you need it to be. So I like to pull the string with this hand 4 to 5 notes up the harp to where I have the right amount of stretching room. Then I kind of kink it down by holding it all together, making it tight. I'm not worrying about lining it up in here at all. I'm going to turn the tuning key towards my bass strings, and I'm also going to push the tuning peg into my harp. That will keep the tuning peg from sliding out. They are tapered. And usually as you untwist them to take a string off, you pull it out. So I'm going to go just a little bit. You can see how this is going to wrap. When it's about like that, I've gotten a good kink built. I'm going to pull it all over and hold it. I'm going to watch as this string goes up and over. See how that happened? I now have this string on top of my extra. Okay? This is critical. This is going to lock your string onto the tuning peg and allow it to not just slip off every time you tune it. So see how I now have my actual string I'm going to be playing is over the top of the part that I'm going to trim. At this point, I lock it onto my guide and in between my lever. I'm still holding this fairly tight to keep the locking anchor right. Now I'm going to start tuning it or twisting it on. And I'm watching to make sure that it stays nice and tight to the outside. You don't really want it going too far down the tuning peg. Okay? So if you heard that, that was the knot getting tight, and I double check that my string end is good. My knot has finished tightening down. My string end is in there. It's not horizontal anymore, but it's still about, the knot is about in the middle of the string end, so we're good. At this point, you can start tuning. So you can hear that it's basically an octave below where it needs to be. And you're gonna hear that little string knot moving around a little bit as it gets tighter. So just do it nice and slow. So I have it up to pitch. This string will take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to get settled in and find its true pitch. A little tip to help it find its pitch faster is to go ahead and tune this A to actually be a B, so a note above. That will let it stretch a little bit faster, and then it'll settle, because it's going to settle eventually on its own, and it's going to settle back down to its real pitch. Then you can come, and just a pair of fingernail snippers for these ones works great. And make sure you don't cut the string that you need to play, just cut the end, get nice and close, and trim it away. And if you've locked it on right, it won't all fall apart. Now you can see that they have given me a whole another length to tie and go again. And that is how to replace your string for this middle section. Don't use this knot for these upper strings. There's a different knot that holds those little teeny strings quite a bit better in my opinion. And the wire, but they do get anchored on, these little strings get anchored onto your tuning pegs the same way as these. Your wires get anchored onto your tuning pegs in a completely different fashion and form. So do not try to do this little twisty, locky thing that we just did here on your wires. You'll snap your wire right off. When you get to your lower gut strings, you do not need to use a string end. The diameter of your string is thick enough that by the time you make the knot, it will not pull through.